What's a painful memory from school you still haven't fully let go of? I was 12 when my English teacher, Mrs. Peterson, unintentionally changed my life. She was known for her creative writing prompts and how seriously she took our work. One Friday, she asked us to write a short story about our biggest dream. I remember being excited the entire weekend. I stayed up late each night scribbling in my notebook, writing a story about a girl who builds a spaceship from junkyard parts and travels to a moon colony to find her lost brother. I'd never cared so much about an assignment. When I finished, I felt proud for the first time. On Monday, I turned it in, expecting at least a smile or a comment in the margins. 3 days later, Mrs. Peterson asked me to stay after class. I was nervous but kind of hopeful. I thought maybe she was going to nominate my story for something or ask me to read it out loud. Instead, she slid the paper across the desk. A big red F was scrawled across the top. My heart sank. "You plagiarized this," she said, dead serious. I was stunned. What? I didn't. This is my story. It's too advanced. This kind of structure, vocabulary, it's not something a 12-year-old writes on their own. Unless you can prove you wrote it, it's a 0 and detention for the rest of the week. I just sat there. I couldn't even process it. When I got home, I showed the paper to my dad, and the moment he saw my face, he knew something was wrong. The next morning, he marched into the school office with me beside him and demanded to speak with the principal and Mrs. Peterson. She stuck to her story, calmly saying that my writing was suspiciously sophisticated. The principal didn't seem to know what to believe. Then he made a suggestion. I would write a new story in his office, under supervision. No notes, no devices, just a pencil and a blank sheet of paper. I agreed, even though my hands were shaking. I was terrified. That afternoon, I sat in the principal's office for 2 hours and wrote another story, this one about the same girl, except this time, her ship crash-landed on Mars, and she had to survive while still searching for her brother. I was crying through half of it, but I finished. A week passed. Then, one morning in class, Mrs. Peterson stood up in front of everyone. "I owe one of you an apology," she said. "I misjudged a student. I assumed something that wasn't true. I was wrong." She turned to me. "You did write that story, and I'm sorry for not believing you." She changed my grade to an A+ and submitted my original piece to a district-wide competition. A month later, I found out I'd won. You'd think that would be enough to feel better. And yeah, it helped. But even now, all these years later, that moment still haunts me. Not because she doubted my work, but because she didn't even give me the benefit of the doubt. She saw something too good and assumed it couldn't be mine. Today, I'm an English teacher. And every time one of my students turns in something that blows me away, I don't question if they wrote it. I ask about their process. I talk to them about the choices they made, what they struggled with, what they loved writing. I've learned to look for their voice in the work, not just the vocabulary. I've learned not to let my own assumptions get in the way of believing in a kid's potential. Because here's the thing, I still remember how it felt. How one teacher's doubt made me feel like I'd done something wrong by being good at something. I never want one of my students to feel that same punch in the gut.